something is everybody's business, and that is security of life and property. And that is what we want to discuss today. In the first half, let me use that word, of the discussion segment of New Dawn this morning, and we have some gentlemen to discuss. The topic is actually about the appointment of General Musa as the new defense minister. Yesterday he was sworn in and is now the defense minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have two gentlemen to discuss that with us, and joining us on set in the studio is Mr. Ayobamigbe, the public affairs analyst, and welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Right, and joining us via Zoom is Brigadier General Usman Sani Kukasheka. He's former director, retired. He's former director, Army Public Relations, and former spokesman of the Nigerian Army. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Right. So I'll allow Moses to fire the first shots as we.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, and of course let's unpack very quickly. I didn't see the appointments coming, but many Nigerians are happy with these appointments because it seems we have a man that, of course, that knows it all in a way. What do you think he should do differently?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think we need to give kudos to the government, for appointing such, well-experienced and seasoned military officer to head the defense ministry for obvious reason. He had been in the military for over 3 decades, and his last appointment being the chief of defense staff. So when you are talking about security, generally, and when you are talking about security architecture and what it takes, definitely you couldn't look for a better person than the new Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, officer of the Federal Republic. Most importantly, even before his appointment as Chief of Defense Staff, look at his 2 previous appointments, Commander, for the operation, Hadinkai, or Lafiya Dole at that time when he was, Hadinkai. So when you look at Lafiya Dole, he was the, first commander at, theater commander at Operation Lafiya Dole at that time. And, to his credit, Boko Haram terrorists, in numbers, surrendered. And then, what he did, turning the tide of the counter-insurgency effort, especially in the Northeast when he was theater commander, it was unprecedented. Then coming back to when he was the chief of defense staff, the emphasis was on joining, and is still, jointness in terms of dealing with security challenges in this country, particularly counter-insurgency, as well as internal security operation. And beyond, commanding, the armed forces of Nigeria, he emphasized on jointness beyond the armed forces to the security architecture, improving the civil-military relationship and all the rest of the things. Therefore, he has a fair understanding of what it takes, to deal with security challenges. Of course, under Nuno said, he agreed he need to, synergize and cooperate with others to ensure, the attainment of his mission objectives and all the rest of them. So, but it is not surprising, rather it is commendable, and, what we require is the support and prayers of all Nigerians and the government to ensure that he succeeds in this onerous challenging responsibility that he has been given.
All right. The defense minister, during his interrogation with, let me use that word, with the Senate, said the federal government will not negotiate, will not use negotiation approach, but they are going to be more decisive. What does that really mean?
I think he is elucidated during the screening process. And there are basically two schools of thought when it comes to dealing with the security challenges, especially as regards to bandits and kidnappers. Some were of the issue, of the opinion that they should negotiate. Of course, to some extent, it has even gone further. If you look at, particularly in Katsina State, the victim, so to speak, have negotiated with the bandits on certain terms that actually did not meet up with the international standard and the best practices. Then, secondly, there are those who are talking about, yes, we have to continue with the kinetic aspect to subdue this criminal element because they don't even have basis for what they are doing. Then, of course, possibly there could be the other school that is talking about negotiation under certain terms and conditions. And let it be known that conflicts usually resolved on the tables of negotiation. Therefore, because we have had instances, countries that have fought, insurgent state, for instance, Colombia, for 58 years, at the end of the day, they ended up on the negotiating table. And look at the ongoing conflicts between Ukraine and Russia. Still, they are still negotiating. Of course, Hamas and Israel, they are still negotiating. So it is not something new. However, the condition, and it should be known, the condition under which such negotiations should take place should be, on agreed terms. In the sense that you don't approach a negotiating table from the position of weakness. And what he is against is exactly what is playing out now. For those of you that are not aware, what is happening in Katsina and other places, it is the bandit group that, of course, they will tell you that actually it is the people that wanted the negotiation, but it is in their own whims and caprices under certain terms. Take, for instance, communities, vulnerable communities will go to negotiating tables that first, you cannot go to the negotiating table. You as a victim, you cannot even defend yourself. You go there without any arm, and there is no security forces, and then they will choose the place where the negotiation will take place. Then part of the condition is that yes, we will not attack you, but you will not also, divulge information about us and to market. Yes, agree, we may not carry arms to those places. But what is going on is that, and I said even yesterday, if, for instance, you sitting down there, you are part of the victims, the community that is negotiating. If you have a beautiful wife and one of the bandit leaders is so interested in her, you are the one who will take the wife to you. Can you tell me that those are the kind of terms that we should listen? Under normal circumstances, when you are talking about negotiating, when you must have sincerity sincerity in the sense that you agree to a third party who is neutral, all of you respect and trust him or her, or them as the case may be, you go to a neutral place where you will, talk. Whatever it is you have in mind, whatever they have in mind, you will agree. And the third party will make peace under certain conditions, and each and every one of you will respect that. But in this case, it is not the same. It's not the same. You even have to pay to go and harvest in your farm. So you cannot talk about such negotiations. So you can understand. And in any case, here you have deployed the military doing the best they can, and in most instances pay the supreme price. Then you have a non-state actor simply because he has, the access to arms and ammunition and information, then you allow him to do whatever he wants to do. When you have the capacity, to deal with this issue, because now you have to contextualize banditry and kidnapping, especially in the northwestern part of Nigeria. It is sheer criminality and nothing else. In the previous instances, people were made to believe that actually they were the victims and all the rest. It is mishandling of hardest farmers conflict that has been, allowed to fetter over time. Because we have had instances where whenever there were issues of that nature, the people, the elders of the community will sit down, aggregate whatever it is, the crop that has been eaten. But unfortunately, corruption crept into it. So invariably, almost everybody is a victim, both the herders and the farmers. But in this instance, of course, you have the records. Over 1 point something or more trillions have been collected, as ransom over time. For those people that are committing banditry and kidnapping, where has the money gone to? To the best of my knowledge, I have not had renovation of any mosque, let alone establishing one. I have not had renovation of any school, let alone establishing one. There is no road, there is no hospital that was constructed. So what are you fighting for? Why should you negotiate with such criminal element that will just pick someone? Just recently, a friend of mine, a vice chairman of a local government, spent 103 days with them. In most instances, he had to drink his own urine. To survive. They chain him like a common, not a human being. So I think the kind of people that you can rationalize what they are doing when the state has the capacity.
All right, General, we'll still come back to you.
You look at where the issue of negotiation or not negotiation. Indirectly, negotiation is not a bad thing, but let it be on certain terms and conditions that is agreeable to each and everyone, because everybody, especially in the Northwest, is a victim of the act of criminalities of these bandits and kidnappers.
Okay, well, stay with us. We're still coming back to you. Let's now talk to Mr. Ayobamigbe, who is in the studio. Yeah, General Musa, fired as Chief of Defense Staff, now appointed as Defense Minister. Will you say that's a master stroke, I know, from this administration?
Even though they may have not gotten a couple of their decisions well in the past, for this one is 100 over 100. Looking at the profile of retired General Musa, it says a lot about commanding at the forefront, training experience, operational experience, and of course he has also acquired a lot of strategic planning experience from several of those positions that he has held over time. So for me, is a right peg in the right hole. But the little concern is just that removing his military khaki to come and work with the civilians, and we all know how difficult bureaucratic processes may often be. Is not similar to commanding a sector in the army or at the heart of the theater of Operation Lafayette Dole or Adin Kai, so it's different. It's a different ball game, and considering that we are also at a very serious culminate point where security, I don't think there may be room for somebody to be allowed to understand the civilian operational procedures. So that is just the little reservations one may have about it. But fine professional career, fantastic records of achievement, is vastly read, and of course his patriotism is not even questionable. This is somebody that has actually walked around the entire national dream from one side. He went to a federal government college. If you look at it, went to the NDA, and he has continued to showcase that patriotism in everything. So he has patriotism, he has accolades of achievements, has planning experience, strategic planning experience. He even worked as an assistant director in the Army Department of Planning and Policy. So, he has all what it takes. But I'm just looking at it that, with the military khaki, you can do a lot. It's obey before complain. But our civilian bureaucratic processes may not be like that. you need to run to the permanent secretary, you need to run to this person, you need to call so person for decisions to be made promptly. So this is just where I am hoping that he will get necessary hands on deck to work that through with him, because we really need him to bring his wealth of experience to play almost immediately, like yesterday. And I believe that he's going to deliver on this. And commendable decision on the part of the this administration. They may have gotten a lot of things wrongly, but this one is really 100 over 100.
So what do you say? General Musa has been saying that we need the cooperation of everybody, especially if you watch the screening, especially the state governors, especially the traditional rulers. Now, what should everybody do? Yes, we know that, yes, this is a very good appointment, but everybody now, like I said, what should be our roles? What should be the role of the state governor, the local government chairman, the community development area chairman, whatever name they call them? What should be our role?
Yes, the role is to first, objectively, everyone should define the bandits and kidnappers and terrorists as outcasts. That is the first thing. Because what has allowed them to really continue to thrive in our society was because some people gave some level of acceptance to them. That is the truth. Unknowingly, some people have turned their lands to the theater of war, and they will pay for it. This is what happens when you continue to condone what is not right. And I mean, we are already seeing it now. He said one of the top, General was talking about one of top vice chairman of the local government. I mean, being whisked away. I mean, we have seen even more highly ranked Nigerians in the hands of these people. Nigeria does not have any business with banditry. So this calls, General Musa knows what he's saying, because some communities, clerical, religious leaders, community leaders have sympathized. In fact, institutionally, we have had generals of the army giving sympathetic press briefings about terrorists. You are telling terrorists that if they repent, they can become president of the country. I mean, these are people slaughtering innocent Nigerians, displacing innocent Nigerians from their households and belongings, taking innocent lives. So we have to stand at the point of objectivity that we, from every arm of the security architecture of the country to the community architecture, that we must denounce them. They are outcasts. They are not Nigerians. They are not part of us. A Nigerian does not take innocent souls the way they are doing, depriving people of their sleeps and their peace and tranquility. No, it is un-Nigerian. And it is at that point that everybody will understand that it is indeed all of us business. Until that, because you can't continue to pat people on the back. And that's why you see that General Musa has said it out early. This is no more negotiation time. The time for that has gone. It is now the stick approach. The Nigerian military should not be reduced to negotiating with people that have been recalcitrant and almost irredeemable. We can't take it. We have capacity. If Nigerian army has capacity to withhold and withstand the security of nations outside Nigeria, how much more a section of the Nigerian state? We have more than what is available, what is needed to curb the excesses of these people. You can't take rice and come to the table and we will not be giving you carrot to eat. No, it is wrong. They will see some sense of doing the right thing in what they are doing. And that's why anybody that is sympathizing with these criminals and terrorists must be denounced by the Nigerian state. They must face the tune.
All right, Brigadier General, because I realize that you'll soon be leaving us, but there is this salient point that I would like to ask you. Number one, is our military strong enough to defeat terrorism in Nigeria? I'm asking you because you used to be there. You are a retired Brigadier General. Do we have the capacity? That's number one. Number two, I'll bring to question the story of the Brigadier General that was killed, Uba, and General Christopher Musa said he doesn't understand why the Brigadier General was alone. Now, what should be the ideal situation? We also had a situation where in Burma there was an order for the military, for the troops to withdraw before the kidnapping was made. These are the issues that I want you to speak around as someone that used to be in the army.
Well, first and foremost, first question, whether the Nigerian military or the security forces, because it's a joint operation dealing with, insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and other criminality in the country, they have the capability to do so. And why am I saying so? Because they have proven their mettle time immemorial, right from First, Second World War, the peacekeeping operations in the Congo, and of course coming back to West African sub-region. You know, the role Nigeria played in restoring law and order agreed to a great price in Sierra Leone and Liberia, as the case may be. And of course, Sudan to a large extent before what happened, South Sudan went. It was even a Nigerian that was commanding it. So, variably, given that antecedent, and most importantly, the capability of the non-state actors, we have certain things that they don't even have. Take, for instance, air power, and of course the Navy. And apart from the Navy, they have even special force service, just like the American SEALs. A lot of people do not know that. Yes, I agree what you are seeing. And I like my counterpart, the passion. I can understand where he's coming from. And sincerely speaking, he has it for and what is happening in the security architecture in this country and the landscape as it were. Now, what we have, and to a large extent, this is exactly why you think that the problem has not been solved, up to now. The reason is that there is this issue of war economy. The war economy is an economic situation that revolves around any complex situation, in the sense that there are people that are benefiting. These guys that, including the insurgents, in most instances they live with the community, all right? But who are those that give them information? Who are those that supply logistics? There were instances in Borno, even before the hike of petroleum prices now, a 5 liter, 5 liters, in fact, not even 5 liters, a liter of petrol costs as much as 5,000 naira. To some people, to them, it's just business, not knowing that that person need to power certain machine or equipment to go and commit atrocities. Then there are people that are, supporting them with information. And unfortunately, we have 3 tiers of government: federal, state, and local government. Except for, where you come from, to some extent, some of the local, or most of the local governments are not working. They exist in issuing indigency form when they are recruitment in police or in the armed forces, when they are supposed to act as buffer zone, in the sense that conflicts that emanate from the local communities can be dealt with at that level before escalating it to state, and when the state will be overwhelmed. So these are the kind of circumstances that brought us. And if you look at it, take for instance the issue of insurgency. Colombia had been dealing with the FARC issues for 58 years. At the end of they were able to solve it. But look at when the Boko Haram really come about, way back 2009, but within a decade or so, we were able to achieve substantial progress in dealing with them. So you can understand that we have the capacity, but that capacity is predicated under certain variables or conditions, the support. And that's, in fact, address some of the issues. Like he raised the issue, yes, now the new position of the minister is that there is bureaucracy and all the rest. And it may interest you to know, sometimes you may not necessarily be experienced to all you need is the capacity and sincerity of purpose to, to succeed. Because in the military, in fact, they have been trained that even if you are writing in the core correspondence, there is a letter to civilian, the language, the way you craft it is entirely different with orders, military orders and all the rest. So there is this understanding. And then beyond that, people tend to forget one thing. For 15 years, the military has been subjected to the nuances of democratic governance in this country. Transformation process from 2000 to 2015. The armed forces are now gone back. And that is one of the missing point or component. When we are embarking on democratic governance, hence there is reorientation. It should have been all-encompassing. Both the military and the civilian components have come out from military, administration over time, so that the conflicts you have had in the early 2000s wouldn't have had them. So to a large extent, he's well prepared, and of course, it's system. It's a system because the permanent secretary and all the rest, there are certain rules and regulations how you conduct yourself and all the rest. And remember, I told you about civil-military relations, and he expanded it to the point that it is unprecedented. So he understood clearly that he is no longer the military, commander that he will pass orders. There are people you have to work hand in glove with. So coming back to the issue of capacity, we have what it takes. There is no doubt about it. But of course, under certain conditions. Yes, he made reference. And there is one question, and that is where we had the problem of investigative journalism in this country. The only evidence people had was the AI-generated video in which Ugo was allegedly killed. And if you just look at that video, how could you shoot someone at a close range wearing face cap, and the face cap did not even fall, talk less of having a wound or blood? Then when you zoom the photograph, you look at the trouser that he's wearing. The armed forces of Nigeria have discarded that shade of camouflage 15 years ago. So there are so many questions that I need to, and I can understand actually that we really need to ask the circumstances that brought about in the first place. They know it. Anybody who has been in the theater for the past 10 years, the Boko Haram regard the whole axis, up to Savangari, that axis is very strategic because it's a kind of supply route or whatever it is, because this was not the first time a brigade commander, in fact, 2 brigade commanders lost their life. Remember Colonel Bako, remember Brigadier General Zirkusi. In fact, the person that came to reinforce Zirkusi, he almost died. They have to, airlift him. So these are the kind of things that we need to critically ask questions, and I'm so happy that he is revisiting the issue, and that is why one of the top priorities as a Minister of Defense is recalibrating, the operations against insurgents and bandits.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Brigadier General. It appears you have an engagement now. Maybe we have to.
I'm leaving late with 5 minutes anyway.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay, you have 5 minutes anyway. Okay, that's fine. But I would like
to am late with 5 minutes, so you have exhausted the 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you so much, Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, the former Nigerian Minister spokesperson. Thanks for talking to us. Of course, we hope to have you talk to us again, in our subsequent programs. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry I had to get running. It is very interesting, and thank you so much for having me.
No problems. Thank you. Now, back to Mr. Ayobamigbe Faloye. Now the United States is breathing down our neck. Trump has threatened to invade and flush out these terrorists if nothing changes. How valid is this threat?
How valid is the self-renowned security nation of the world threat?
Because some would say, well, he said that just to put us on our toes, like that.
He has said it, and you have seen.
Because owing to our sovereignty.
Well, we all know that the United States of America, has breached all of those kind of things. They just need an excuse to come into your nation. As the world security nation, they have that, they make the rules and break the rules. So, we have seen replica of that actions in several other countries. From Afghanistan to Libya in Africa, to Iraq. I mean, what you will find out is later that some of the excuses they used in invading were not genuine enough. So the threat, I think Nigeria should take it seriously, and you can see yourself that aside from the pronouncement of the President of the United States of America, a lot of procedures and processes have already, taken place. From the hearing on the Congress floor to several other apparatchik of their institution, making moves, working with the Nigerian security advisor, Malam Ruru Ribadu, the constitution of a joint, security committee. So if it was jokes, I don't think all of those things will have come to play. But most importantly for Nigeria is that we do really did not have to come to this stage. I mean, we didn't have to come here where a country in the world would begin to push our heads around. And that is where we need to look inside and reflect on our actions and inactions. I mean, why has insurgency, stayed for this long in our country? So, I mean, we also remember all of the arguments about the nomenclature that we give to these people. Are they bandits? No, they are not terrorists. I mean, people that are, causing our peaceful coexistence to shake. I mean, that is the greatest offense of treason anybody can commit. Trying to displace the Nigerian nation, trying to destabilize the nation, trying to lead us to chaos. Nigeria must not turn to a theater of war. 250 million people is no joke. If it spills to West Africa, it's problem everywhere. That's a huge population. So the problem is, why have we gotten to this level? Are we asking ourselves the right questions? I mean, how can you have people in the top hierarchy of the Nigerian military giving sympathetic pronouncements to terrorists?
So are you, with that statement, are you saying that, are you agreeing with those that said the Nigerian military is kind of compromised?
Of course. That is the only...
Though we don't have a fact on our table.
I mean, that is the only insinuation we can get at this point. He was asking a question, how did General Uba get to leave his command? How did he get a loan somewhere? I mean, these are questions we need to ask ourselves. How does it happen that when they are going on a planned mission, they are getting ambushed on the way? That means somebody somewhere inside is giving information. The retired general also said it. People are giving the informations out.
Well, he also said it could be a doctored or an AI video.
No, he's actually claiming that video is an AI video.
Okay.
It's not even away from the video now. He has said it that information gets out. Now we are looking at non-military actors, giving information out. We also need to look inside the military. Who is giving the information out? If a general can come on air, the video is everywhere, and be saying that a repentant Boko Haram terrorist can become the Nigerian president tomorrow, what does that mean? When people were clamoring for a serious stick approach, some people in the northern part of the country were saying, no, they are our children, don't attack them. And you have suddenly turned your peaceful environment to the theater of war. You pay for it. You pay for condoning nonsense. You pay for condoning terrorists that are taking innocent lives. You pay for it.
Okay, there has been pronouncement that there should be more recruitment of more military personnel. And I remember General Musa, during his interview with the Senate, was saying that, okay, they will do that, but they will also ensure that the welfare of the military is taken care of. As far as you are concerned, with what you know and what you've seen, do you think that improving the welfare would help take a step further in solving this insecurity issue?
Of course, definitely. I see, you know, when I watched the interview, I saw General Musa, you know, put into the table, they call it general systems approach to solving problems. And he has talked about involvement of everybody. He has talked about welfare of the military. These are different strongholds of a general systems approach to solving a problem. We will now go further. Who are the financiers of these people? Where are their collaborators? People supplying them petrol, people supplying them ammunition, people providing them food in their enclaves, people giving them information. You know, it's a systems approach to this problem, and one must commend him for that. No welfare is enough for people that have staked their lives to patriotically defend the sovereignty of this country. Nothing is enough, because for their families and friends, there's no sleeping, there's no peace while they're out there. And for them out there, if you have seen some of them being interviewed, they tell you that they have given their lives to Nigeria. And there's no too much welfare for people that are, for the sake of the rest of us, protecting the borders of this country, shielding our sovereignty as a nation. I mean, putting everything there to continue to make Nigeria a respectable nation amongst Community of Nations. I mean, no extent of welfareism is enough for them.
Our time is almost running out, but I would like you to speak to this. During his interview, he spoke about, he commended the Southwest governors when he was talking about the border issue, that security has to do with border. When they commit a crime, they fly to Niger and they can't pursue beyond that border. So he wants an international, regional collaboration. How do you want to, I want you to speak to the issue of the clamor for state police, and also the clamor, the recent directive by the federal government for the withdrawal of security personnel from what they call the VIPs.
Yes, if it is obvious that we are short-staffed by the latest recruitment announcements, I mean, they even said that if people don't come up, they will begin to, you know, compel people to patriotically join the armed forces. It shows that we are limited when it comes to staff. And we cannot be limited in staff to protect the entire nation. Rather, we are now committing men and officers to protect individuals. It doesn't make sense. It is a conflicting ideology.
No, but some people are saying that you expose these VIPs to attack if you take away their security.
Are the general populace in their numbers and millions no more exposed? Is Nigeria as a nation not more exposed? Are the individuals bigger than Nigeria? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. I mean, tí wọ́n bá ṣe dáadáa, ara kì yóò.
That you're quoting the scripture.
I mean, so if you are VIPs, if you have led well, if you have what you are supposed to do with your offices and paraphernalia, I don't think you need extra resources in securing you and leaving the nation open to invaders from neighboring countries. It's straightforward. They should withdraw the VIP security apparatus to protect the entire nation. If the entire nation is protected, the commoners, the masses, and the VIPs will all be protected. It's very simple.
And do you think state policing is a game changer?
Well, I mean, every rule, every ideology, every systematic institutional decisions across the world have worked, but when it gets to Nigeria, it's always something else. I mean, state police is the ideal way to go. In Nigeria, population and the land mass being controlled from a central point, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even go with the ideologies of fiscal democracy. I mean, one would have expected that the chief security officer of a state should control, I mean, should solidly be in charge not a decorated proclamation as the chief security officer of the state that cannot control a commissioner of police, that cannot command anything. I mean, so it's the right thing to do. But again, you look at the callousness of people that have been around the corridors of politics in this country, and you begin to use state police to do something else. These are the fears of the people that are saying, no, it's not time. No, it's time. No, it's not time. That's simply, ideally, institutionally, a state police should come to play. The governor of the state, as the chief security officer of the state, should be able to secure his people, not by pronunciation, but with security apparatchik and institutions to work with.
All right, in 1 minute, a senator said to General Musa, if you don't perform in 6 months, we are going to recommend your sack. Do you want to toe that line, or do you want them to give him more time?
Why unnecessary pressure? How many governors have we sacked for not working for 8 years? How many governors have been moved to sack for not working for 8 years? How many people that have been publicly disgraced for being corrupt and non-accountable have they sent to jail? Have they moved the motion to go to jail? They should leave the young man to settle down into office. If it was easy for them to do that, why didn't they find a solution to the insecurity problems we have all this while? Somebody has come with that wealth of experience, you won't allow him to sit down in office. They're already using timeline to put in. The ones that came before him, did they go to jail? Were they sacked for not performing? Please, they should allow the gentleman to settle in and bring forth his wealth of experience in training operations and at the heart of theater of war. You should bring all of that to play. Let him settle down.
All right, that is Mr. Ayobamigbe Faloye, a current affairs analyst, and that is his voice you just heard. And I want to say thank you for coming, and that your contribution is really, really applaudable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
also want to thank the former director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Usman Sani Kukasheka. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, this is the first half.